So for today's video, we're going to be working on the global emissions dataset. Link to this particular dataset will be in the description box below. So I already have Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio open. Can go ahead and open it. So come over to databases, right click, and we're going to create new database. And we're going to name this global emissions. I'm going to name it 2 because I already have one. I probably named that, so I'm just naming it this, and I'm going to create that. So now we can go ahead and create a new query like that. Now just come over to databases and we're going to expand this. I will just select our database we just created. I'm going to right click and let's go to tasks and we'll import flat file. Let's go to specify input file. I'm going to browse the file and just go ahead and locate the dataset in your computer, and this is what we have now. So I'm going to leave the table name as it says like this. So let's preview the data. So this is what we have for our data, not much here. So go to modify columns. We are going to leave everything as it is. There's no need to change any other thing. So we're just going to go to next and we're just going to finish this, and we've imported our data. So I'm going to close this. Let's take a look at our data. Let's type select, and we're going to select all from. We're going to reference the table name, which is methane final, and I'm just going to run this query using F5. Oops. Oh, I just realized what's wrong. I didn't select the correct database because I was like, everything is fine. So just in case, make sure you are referencing the correct database. So I'm just going to select this and then run this again. So this is what our data looks like when you import it. So we're going to be working with region, country, emissions type, segment, reason, and base year. We're not going to use notes or this column, but yeah. So let's run some other queries to kind of start doing data analysis. So let's look at total emissions by region. So let me just do emissions by region, and we're going to select region, and we're going to get the sum of the emissions. We're going to use the emissions table, emissions column, and we're going to get this as total emissions. And we're going to reference our table, which is from the methane final data sets. And we're going to group by region, and we are also going to order by total emissions. And I'm just going to run this query using F5. Okay, we have our regions. We have a lot of decimal places and we can't really tell what's going on here. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, let's use the round function here. And I'm going to round down our results to just 2 decimal places. And second, let's order our emissions in descending order. And let's look at this. So this word, I honestly couldn't really tell what it was referring to based on the data sets, but let's just assume that that's one of it. We have world and order, but our focus should be this Asia Pacific, and we have North America, Russia, Caspian, Africa, Europe, Central and South America, and finally we have the Middle East. So this is the order of total emissions by region according to from highest to lowest. Next, let's look at the emissions by country. So let's look at total emissions by country, and we'll select the country column. We're going to get the, let's start with the round, because we know that the sum has a lot of decimal places, so we're going to use the round function, and then we're going to get the sum of emissions rounded out to 2 decimal places as total emissions. This is going to be from methane final and we're going to group by country, and we're going to order by total emissions in descending order. No, total emissions in descending order, like this. So let's run this. Once again, world is coming up in the countries column. We're just going to ignore that. So we're going to start with China. So we have China as the highest, then we have the United States, Russia, India, and Nigeria coming in at 11, so technically number 10. So what if you just wanted to do top and bottom? So let's say we wanted to do this is total emissions by country, so let's do top 10 and lowest 10. So I'm going to copy that and paste. So we'll say we'll make this top 10 countries. Let me rename this top 10 countries by emission, and we're going to just around here add this top 10. Let's make it 11 because we're going to have world there, so I want to, so I will have the 10th country there. So this is the top 10 countries by highest pollution with the highest emissions. So top 10 countries by let me make this with highest emission. So we want to check lowest as well. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this here, and this time is going to be lowest. So just here, this time we're going to sort in ascending order, and we're going to run this query. So now we see Seychelles has the lowest emission, then Liberia, or we can say, oh, I did 11 this time because let me do 10. I'm seeing 11 results since world is not going to be part of it. So we have Seychelles with lowest overall based on this data set. So this data set is 2019 to 2022. So as of 2022, based on this particular data set, is saying that Seychelles is is the country with the lowest emission. So these are the bottom 10 countries in terms of emission. Next, let's look at the emissions by type for specific countries. So as you know, we're using queries, and there are limitations to how we can visualize that. If we're working with a chart, that would be different, but we're going to use queries. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to select a few countries, similar to what we did up here, where we did we ordered the emissions and just looked at the bottom 10 and the top 10. But this one will just look at a few countries, so you can modify the columns to see any country you're interested in. So I'm going to make this emissions by type for specific countries. Okay, so let's select the country column. Okay, no, we want to look at type, so we're going to select the type, and we're going to get the, first of all, we'll do a round, so we can round down our results, and we're going to get the sum of emissions, and we're going to do that as total emissions. And we are going to reference our table, which is the methane final table, and we're going to set a condition, and the condition is going to be where country is going to be, let me see which country, let me use Algeria, and we're going to group by type, and let's go ahead and run this query. Let me just close this, and I'm just going to, we're going to use F5, and we're going to run this, so we can see the breakdown by type. Okay, let's change the order of total emission so we can see which particular type of emission is the highest and which one is the lowest. So I'm just going to order by total emissions, and this is going to be in descending order, and I'm going to run this. So we have energy with the highest, then we have waste, agriculture, and other. So this is the breakdown of the emissions based on type for Algeria alone. So let's say we want to look at a different country. Let me copy this, and I'm going to paste this here. Let's try a different country. Let's say Denmark. Just going to change that like this. Let's run this. Now you see the breakdown of the emissions by type. Let's try one more country. Let's say Mexico. And I'm going to run this, and this is the breakdown of total emissions by type based on the country. So you can just go ahead and just keep changing the countries to see the breakdown of emissions for some specific countries. Next, let's look at emissions by segment. So I'm just going to come down here, and I'm going to let's look at emissions by segment. So, and what we're going to do is select the segment column, and we're going to round and then get the sum for emissions in 2 decimal places as total emissions Next, we're going to reference our table, which is the methane final table. Where type, now we're going to set our condition similar to what we did earlier, where type is equal to, let's start with energy. And we're going to group by segments. Let's run this. Let's order it by, there are more more results than I was expecting. So let's order by total emissions in descending order. Let's run this again. So we have total onshore oil, steam, coal, onshore gas, and this is the order in which the emissions by segments within each energy sector comes up. So let's say you want to look at something different. Say you want to look at maybe agriculture. So it's very simple. All you need to do is copy this, and we're going to just change this to agriculture, and we're going to run this query. So under agriculture, we just have one result. Let's do another one. Let's just do one more. Let's say we do waste. And if there's any other one, and I'm just going to run this. So for the others, they just have total, but it seems like only energy has based on this type, it only is spread across other segments. Well, yeah, that's the breakdown of emissions by segments. This time, let's use the base year. So let's see the year-over-year emissions for specific countries. So I'm going to do year over year emissions for specific country. Now this data set is unique that we just have two options for year. We have 2019 to 2022 as a year, and then we have 2019 to 2021 as a year, and then we have 2022. It's just how the data set is. So I'm just going to do that for specific countries. So just like we did earlier, we'll just pick a country. I think we did Algeria the first time, so I'll just do that this time as well. I'll just we'll select base year, and we are going to round the sum of emissions as total emissions. And we are going to reference our table next. We are going to specify the country, so where country is equal to Algeria, and we're going to group by base year, and let's just run this query. Oops, this is emissions, and I'm going to run this query. So we have the total emissions for 2019 to 2021 here, and you can see that the total emissions for 2022 is much higher than what we have for 2019 to 2021. So just like we did before, let's select the entire thing, copy this. Let's look at a different country this time. Let's say I'm going to paste this. Let's do India, and I'll just change this to India. I'm going to run this. So once again, you can see our emissions. This time the emissions actually is lower. So for the other country, Algeria, it was higher, then went lower. It was lower, then it went higher. But this one, 2029 to 2021 was 24,481. This time in 2022, it's now 10,317. Now we can't really break down this top one, but yeah, that's it. Let's try different countries. So I'm going to try my country, which is Nigeria, and let me do this. I'm also going to do, I know Nigeria is one of the top 10 in terms of emissions, not really something to, anyway. So okay, Nigeria is relatively from 2019 to 2021 it was 3,291. Then in 2022 alone it was 6,612. Let's try one more country. I think the highest was China. Let's look at China. China, and I'm just going to run this. So China, based on our analysis, was actually the highest in terms of emissions, but this is the breakdown of the emissions from 2019 to 2022. You could keep going on and on and on. So you'll just run some for a few countries. If you are interested in a specific country, then you can just run this query for that. But that's it for this particular query. Next, let's look at the total emissions by reason. So I'm just going to, let's make this total emissions by reason. And so we'll select reason, and we're going to get the sum of emissions as total emissions. And we're going to reference our table. Let's group by reason. And let's order by, I can't remember how many reasons there are, so I'm just going to assume there's more than 2, hopefully. Total reasons in descending order. I'm going to run, we just have 4 reasons. So we have all vented, so all is the highest, vented, fugitive, and fled. Yeah, that's the total emissions by, I missed one S here. That's the total emissions by reason. Next, let's take another look at segments, or let's see how the segments contribute to global methane emissions. So we're just going to name it is segments contributing. Let's see how they contribute to global emissions. So we're going to select the segment column, and we're going to get the sum, which we're going to round down to 2 decimal places, of emissions, and we're going to generate our results as total emissions. This is going to be from methane final. We're going to group by segments. I can't remember how many segments we have, so I'm just going to order it just in case we have, even if it's just 4, so we'll be able to see what the order of what we're doing looks like. So let's order it by total emissions, and I'm just going to run this query. Okay, we have quite a bit. So this is how all the segments contribute to total emissions globally. So we have total onshore steam and coal. I think based on this we have order from coal, order from gas, offshore gas, so on and so forth. But yeah, that's how each segment contributes to global emissions. Let's carry out another query. Let's look at the total emissions by region and reason. So we're just combining those two. We've already done this before, but let's combine it. So total emissions by region and reason. We're going to select region, and we are also going to select reason. We're going to get the sum of emissions to 2 decimal places, and we're going to get the result as total emissions. We're going to reference our table, which is the methane final table, and we're going to group by region and reason. Let's also order by region and reason also. In descending order. So take a moment to, I think that it's supposed to be emissions, not emission. Okay, so now we can look at the breakdown of each. While looking at the region, we can see the reason and also see the total emissions for each one of them. So yeah, that's it for the total emissions by region and reason. And with that, we have come to the end of this particular tutorial. If you liked the video, please like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.